Today on Talk About Your Community, I'm going to have my guest, Neval Dalgic from Budizzz on, and we're going to be talking about her journey from being a community member to a community manager. So stay tuned because it's going to be an event that's full of insights and fun. Kalisa, go ahead and roll the intro. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may happen to be in the world. You have tuned in to Talk About Your Community with Clocktower Advisors. My name is Todd, your host, and on this show, if you've never been here before, we talk to a variety of people who are both formal community professionals as well as people that are involved with interesting things that relate to community building, whether it's an online community, an offline community, or that great in-between place, the hybrid community. I am coming off of a really interesting, fun week. Just a quick plug and a thank you to Francisco Apazzo and all of the wonderful volunteers who put together the Community Everywhere Conference. Had a wonderful time as a speaker there and lots of great feedback from that. I know a lot of wonderful thought leadership came out of that. It was just a nice coming together of all the people in the online community space. So I hope you checked it out. If you haven't, you can find out more about it and get access to the replays by going to communityeverywhere.com. Really glad to support them and all the wonderful efforts they're doing to bring the community together. So with that said, just some quick administrative updates for everybody. Normally, we do the Talk About Your Community event every other week and have a guest every other Friday. Because the Thanksgiving holiday is coming up in the United States in 2 weeks, we're actually moving up that next event that we're going to be having to next Friday. And I'm super excited about next Friday's guest as well. His name is Jason DePerry Turner. I had to look at my notes so I got his name correct. I'm terrible with names. But Jason and I met recently, a couple of months ago, talking about another community build out. And he is an expert videographer, a ex-child television star, and also doing some really interesting things with augmented reality and virtual reality. I think as these new technologies are having an impact or will have an impact on the online communities that we build, I wanted to have him on the show. He's an absolutely brilliant speaker. We're going to have a lot of fun with him as well. But that's not why you're here today. We are here to greet Neval Dalgic, and let's bring her on the stage right away. And please, everybody, if you're tuning in virtually, give her a warm welcome. Neval, hello, wonderful to see you. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Doing really wonderful. It's like I said, it's been an energizing week with the Community Everywhere event. I know you checked it out a little bit, and what's been going on for you this week?
Well, it's been going well. We've been working on a project like this whole week, and we have finally finalized it today. Sent it just like 2 hours ago or something. So I'm like super happy about it. Also like super excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
You know, we've had such a great sign up for the live stream this week. So you're obviously a beloved person because people wanted to jump on and wish you well and learn a little bit more about your journey and all the wonderful things you are doing. I see that the chat is already lit up and excited. So would love it if people would jump in and say, where they're from or what they're doing, what questions or ideas they have for you throughout this, because we're going to be talking about your full journey from being, somebody working with Google communities and then moving into your current company, Budizzz. I'm so excited to hear about all of this today. And I see we've already got some great friends who are logging in. I see Mark Schwenke, Blessing, as well as Erdel, Nikla, I think some friends of yours, because I don't recognize the language they're writing, and that must be Turkish, right?
Yes. Well, hi. Well, thank you so much for the two of my favorite community builders comment, by the way. Well, thank you. Yeah, those are my like Turkish friends, family.
Wonderful.
One of them is my best friend. One of them is my father. So I have quite the fan base of friends and family. So thank you all for being here. So I'm
So
so
wonderful.
excited to be like talking about how it all started. Actually, like because I think it could be like a good understanding of how community members can become like important parts of your company, of your community.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
I always say like all of us are members of different communities in our lives,
Mhm.
but you made a conscious decision to make that journey from being a community member to a community leader, facilitator,
Exactly.
community manager, if you will.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so as we kind of get into this, I'd love to know sort of like when that moment was that you decided to make the transition. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So, but before we do that, why don't you tell us a little something like you said you've got some friends and family on here. What's something that not everybody knows about you that you could share about yourself?
Nice. Okay. So, like, I wanted to mention that, like, actually, guys, yes, I do like community management as a job right now, but I am actually a mechanical engineer. But I call myself a retired mechanical engineer because I chose not to do that. So like it's something fun that I like to tell about myself, because like these days when somebody asks me what do you do, I don't tell, like, what, I'm a mechanical engineer but I do community management. No, I don't say that. I of course say I'm a community manager, like a proud girl that I
Right
am.
on.
So
Yes.
yeah, so yeah, like I don't really tell this often to people, but yes, I'm a mechanical engineer, guys, and I think like that's a great touch point in also like my story as well of becoming a community manager from a community member. And I see that the commenter was İlker, so also like by the way, İlker is one of the most influential people in my life. So
Jedi
yeah.
Master Ilker. So wonderful to see him as always.
Yeah, it's so nice that we have like very important connections with him, because like you guys also like co-founders of Talent. That is amazing. So yeah, and also he is the chief community officer of the company that I'm working at, Budizzz. So it's like so nice to like have him. We have him to talk about today.
That's great. Ilker is a trusted friend, colleague, business partner, and just all around wonderful human. His warmth suffuses the world of community management, and just everywhere he goes, he's an ambassador of goodwill. So, nothing but wonderful things to say about him and my interactions with him over the years. Um, Neval, now I'm curious. I want to make this connection between mechanical engineering and the world of community management. Can you say, are there any lessons from your education or your background as a mechanical engineer that you've been able to draw forward into the world of community management?
Exactly. I think like the analytical thinking point of things, because like I think that our job is very heavily on like about data's understanding stuff, like because you have to look a number and then you need to like make a sense of that. So I think like it's very important to have this kind of overlooking things, not just diving in but overlooking things and understanding things. That of course goes about like data, but also like managing the community itself too. So I think like an engineer has that point of view, because they teach you to like look at the problem from outside, like analyze and then dive in. So I think like that is something that I have transferred to this community management as a community manager. So yeah, I can maybe say that.
I always like to hear perspectives from people in other professions and sort of like what they bring to the community space, because I think that's where that's what helps us to innovate and to do things
Mhm.
better. And just the more perspectives we have on community building, the better. That's really terrific.
Mhm.
So, well, Naval, let's dive into the meat of the conversation here. What how did you get your start in
Mhm.
community management? Because my understanding is you were involved with some of the Google developer groups, maybe, and like what pulled you into that world, and then what helped you go from there to decide that you wanted to do this as a profession? Was there a moment where you realized, I love community building, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to be?
So while as I was studying mechanical engineering, I thought that I was going to love my job, like when studying it. But after I went to Erasmus, by the way, for a year in Lithuania. Shout out to Lithuania. If there are like any people from Lithuania, hi, I love Lithuania. So yeah, I went there, and I like while I was studying there, I realized that maybe I really do not like mechanical engineering. I need to find like some other thing that I can be passionate about. So when I come back actually from Erasmus, my friends who were actually like mechanical engineering with me, but then transferred to computer engineering, he was like, you know what, there is this like community manager at Google whose wife is from Mersin, the city that I live in, and he wants to build this local community like Google developer groups Mersin in Mersin, like, and we are going to like start it. Would you like to be a part of it? And then I was like, you guys know what you guys know? I want to do that. So I became a part of the organization. I didn't know anything because like it's all about like computer engineering, it's all about those languages. I don't know anything about that, but I have the social skills, I have the organizational skills. I can manage like the teams that I am in. I understand that, even though I don't understand maybe the technologies that we talk about at the moment. So, that person was İlker. So it wasn't for him, by the way. It wasn't. Yeah, guess who is? So yeah, and if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have, like started all of this, by the way, because it was his commitment on starting this community in Mersin, in the sunny, always warm Mersin, where all the people are always like warm, always chatty. Maybe like all of this comes from there, by the way, living in here, because if you're from Mersin, you have to belong to a community, like you want to find your community, you want to socialize with the people like yourself. So it's in your DNA to find your community. So yeah, İlker is also like, he calls himself from Mersin too, although he's not, but he calls himself from Mersin too. So he really wanted to like open the GDG Mersin here. So, like he did. And then my friends invited me in. And then actually it's been like almost 5 years now since I am a member. And I stay I would keep staying, by the way. İlker Akansel, yeah. And I want to like, by the way, stay as a member, because like I would like to talk about, again, like throughout this conversation, the importance of staying as a community member, always being a community member, always, especially if you're a community manager. So yeah, it's been 5 years already. I've been in different Google groups, Google organizations, by the way. But yeah, it was all thanks to İlker Akansel that I became a community member, first from like to start it all. And then he's been a real support when starting out. He was a community manager, or like developer relations, a member of developer relations for like 2 years. I think like we've known each other, after he left Google. So before he left Google, sorry. So yeah, I think it shows what's a community manager holds, what kind of importance a community manager holds in this kind of situations. Because he was the reason that this community started. It was his job, but it was also like his positive effect on us to start it all. It was also like his dedication for us to put out like events and so on, because he was always this positive enforcement. Is I constantly burning. So yeah, yes, İlker, by the way, it was all you're doing. It was you giving us the motivation, you giving the motivation to your members. So yeah, I think it shows the importance of a good community manager, like how you should be a community manager, what kind of a community manager you should be. So yeah, I learned from the best. in that 2 years. And after he left, after I graduated, I was like, you guys, you know what? I don't want to do like mechanical engineering. I tried. I didn't want to do it. I was looking for something to do. And even during that time, we were speaking with İlker, and he was always like so supportive. He was always like, if like you ever think about becoming something maybe related to community management, you know what? I'm always here. I'm always here to like give you the guidance, give you the sources and stuff. So it again shows like how a community manager should be on and off your job, by the way, to like influence you, to keep you on the loop, you know, like to make you feel that you're a part of a community always. So yeah, I think that was like one of the best lessons that I've learned throughout like all of this, even before becoming a community manager. And then like one day he hit me up and he was like, you know, like from a Mersin citizen to like another, you know what? Because he's from Mersin, you know, although he's not. Mm-hmm. Yes, you're not. So yeah, he was like, you know what? This job came up. What do you think? So yeah, and then that was the moment that changed it all, by the way. That call was the moment that changed it all. Although I did like community management before that too, but that call was the moment that changed it all, because after that I was like, you know, yes, I'm a professional community manager now.
That's so wonderful. It's such a great story. And there were two things that I wanted to emphasize in that I thought really stood out for me. One is it's something that one of our other viewers watched. My friend Mark Schwenke says, you know, we're always community members. That never ends when our title changes. And I totally agree with that. I think that sometimes we feel like as community professionals, maybe we should be above the fray, or, you know, that, you know, especially if you're sort of new to community management, like, oh, okay, I can't be like every other community member anymore. But really, I mean, you need to feel like you're a part of the community if you're going to be an evangelist or somebody that promotes the community, I feel. And I think that's a really wonderful point to make. And I'm glad that you emphasized that in your background as well. Like I am still a community member. I'm just now helping to manage that community space as well. The other thing that I wanted to acknowledge too was the importance of mentorship and İlker's act of calling you up and thinking of you and asking you to consider community management as a career. That's something that I think people sometimes need to hear, especially people that are early in their career and trying to figure out what do I want to do? Could I do this? Wow, do I really even have the qualifications to do this? Yes, you do. And it helps to hear that from a professional that's been doing that work for a while. And so it warms my heart to hear that he was an influential person for you, and that it brought you to your current job at Budizzz. So yeah.
Yes. Which is, well, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, let's talk about that.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
There we go.
So yeah, so that is a great learning that, by the way, like I transferred to this community that I am managing at the moment, because, you know, like I was a mechanical engineer. I didn't have the skills, or like you don't go to a school to become a community manager, or you go to different schools, you learn throughout the way. You probably start as a community member that you don't realize when you become a community manager. You're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you know, I'm a professional community member. That's why I, you know, like decided to become a community manager. Of course, there are other stories that we are all like hearing from everyone, but one way or another, thank you, Todd. Thank you, İlker. One way or another, you know, like you are becoming a community manager. So yeah, and you transfer some skills with you on the way. I transferred some from like mechanical engineering. I transferred some from İlker. And how is that? Because, you know, in the communities, you took on some roles with or without knowing, based on your skills, by the way. And I think it's very important to like individualize what kind of skills they might be. And I think as a community manager, it's very important to understand your community members' skills to maybe put them in like wherever they can best benefit to and from the community. So yeah, I think my story transfers to that, to me also creating community programs to enhance people's skills, in the community. Because we all have some set of skills that we are very good at. Mine might be, like understanding the data. Yours might be, I don't know, like creating the strategy. Like we have different thinkings and different looks in the in our lives. One might be very social. One might be very good at understanding the rules, and then forcing the rules, not forcing, but I don't have the word for it. I'm so sorry.
No,
So
right. Enforcing the rules. Yeah, yes.
Nice. So I think we should find those people in our communities. That's why, by the way, building the Budizzz community, working with, of course, İlker, when we were building our strategy, we actually built our strategy on that. So yeah, I think let me give you an example of what kind of community programs we have, because we have so many community programs in our community.
Before we do that, Neval, could we just take a step back? Could you tell our viewers, if they haven't been to Budizzz.com, which I think many of them haven't,
yes.
what is Budizzz? What's it about?
Right. Okay, so at the moment, Budizzz is a product which has been over 5 years now, by the way. Hi, Sylvia, who is our founder. I don't know if she's watching right now, but she's such a great boss. She's such a great supporter. So Sylvia gave birth around 9 years ago, and she was, helping her. One day she realized that her kid, Bartu, sleeps better under the aspirator noise, which is actually a white noise. I don't know if any of you guys know what a white noise is, but it helps you sleep. Do you use white noise?
I have.
Or
I'll sometimes use it for working, just to be able to focus, or to block out background noise. It's a wonderful focus tool. That's great.
Nice. So we realized that there are many things out there that can help you sleep. So Budizzz started with Budizzz Bear, which is a device with a teddy bear that helps babies sleep easily with different with different noises, including the white noise, by the way, which is of course, by the way, in the future we are hoping to do that for all members of the family, even if you are in a family or not, for all individuals.
Will I get a teddy bear too? With that?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Yeah,
awesome.
So yeah, we are here to help you go to sleep, by the way. Or of course, sleep starts not when you lay your head on the pillow, but also the moment you wake up. So yeah, we are helping you throughout the day too. So yeah, Budizzz, that's why Budizzz, by the way, currently has community members as mothers or parents. Maybe it's also important for me to note that when talking about our community programs, maybe it will be easier to understand, because this is these are the community programs that we've built based on our community, which were parents or mothers. So yeah, Budizzz is that. If you guys would like to check out Budizzz, it's www.budizzz.com. So, yeah.
I feel like I should bring my little bear along here.
Yes, it's so nice. Who knitted that?
That's my Picard bear.
Nice.
With my little in there.
Nice. Well, yeah, Budizzz is that. So when creating the community programs. Yes, hi Sylvia. You can mention Sylvia on the comments. So yes.
Wonderful.
All the answers, yes. I'm reading the comment. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, Mark. Right. But we know the people who know those, and we can make referrals or mention them in. Yes. Absolutely. That's wonderful.
Yes, exactly. I knew my community. I knew that, for instance, in my community, there were people who were influencers between the mothers. So, why not help them become advocates of the community? Why not create an advocate program that they can become advocates of the community and talk about our community openly to everyone? So I think like it's very important to understand your community, and if you don't have the answers exactly, like give them the stage to talk about it. Like that's why we created like the top contributor program. If they know more than us about like parenting or like sleep, like helping them sleep, helping their kids sleep, you know, like we should give them the stage. We should also learn from them. Of course, we should also help them learn. It should be like an experience on both hands, that we should all benefit from each other, them from us and us from them. So I think that is also like another way of understanding the community-led approach. I don't know, because we truly believe in the community-led approach. That's why actually we created the ambassador program before starting the community. Before building the community, we built the community with the ambassadors. So like, yeah, I can go on and on, by the way. If you don't stop me, I can go on and on.
It's good. So if I could, so I think in our description for today's conversation, you talked about like that there's maybe an ambassador program and an advocacy program. Is there a difference between the two? And maybe if you could speak to that a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe which one you launched first and how they're going.
Yeah, so we've launched the ambassador program first. Right now, currently, we have 9 ambassadors, by the way, whom I love, because we have very close relationships with them. The reason is, as I've mentioned, we wanted our community we wanted to build our community-led. We wanted to build the community for them. When I always love to give this like example, we always say that a community manager has to have like empathy. But like the empathy that we talk about is not feeling sorry when someone is sad or feeling happy when someone is happy. Of course, it is that, but also understanding their perspective, understanding what their pain points might be, understanding what are their struggles, and build the community upon that. Of course, based on our strategy, like based on our goal. So, but with us, we thought, you know what, we already have this like audience. We already have this audience of mothers, and we have our like customers who are like mothers who know the product, who use the product. So why not just engage with them? Why not just build an ambassador program from them, like a small ambassador program that whom we trust, by the way, whom we already have like good relations through social media, through like, I don't know, knowing them before. So, you know, we picked 9 people from that, and then we built everything with them. We built truly everything with them. When we wrote the strategy with İlker, the moment we finished it, we went to the ambassadors. We said, you guys, what? We've created a strategy for the community. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that you, like as community members, would like to be in a community like this? And then we collected their feedback, you know, like even from the strategy. When we were deciding on the community platform, we said, you know, you guys know, I'm sorry, I can't. You guys what? I'm sorry. So we said, guys, we have like different platforms in mind. Can you come and like try those with us to see which might be like better for you, which is easier for you? And then like we decided on a platform. And then when we were like also like even creating the categories, we asked them, what do you guys need? What do you guys would like to talk about? Based on, of course, like sleep related things, because it should always go hand in hand with your goals and strategy, of course. So yeah, again, like when we are inviting someone to talk, we ask them, what would you guys like to like listen to? Even on social media, from time to time, we ask them, what should we do? And this ambassador group is very special in a sense of we also like develop our products with them. We ask for their feedback as they are the users, you know. So they are very special in that sense. By the way, they all have NDAs because they are a part of our company, as we call them. They are not just community members. They are not just ambassadors. They are like also kind of like a part of our company. So I think it's like if you take a community-led approach, you might not be able to listen to all of your members. You might not be able to hear what everybody has to say. But if you can pick like a few people that can represent them, that might be very helpful to talk about like very detailed things that you might not be able to share with everyone. So that's what we did with our ambassador program. And we've been running that for, I don't know, like a year now, I think, which has been very helpful. We've been deciding so many things together.
That's so great. I mean, I think having a strong group of ambassadors who
Exactly.
are really brought into the fold of the organization. I love the way that you're talking about it, that you speak of them as if they are part of the company, even though, officially they're not. And depending on where you are, like in the United States, you have to be a little careful to say like, hey, you're part of the company now. And then they can say, well, that's great
Yeah.
benefits.
Yeah.
But I take your point of what you're
Yeah.
saying, that you want them to feel like there isn't really like a wall between you as a
Exactly.
company and them
Mhm.
as people that are enthusiastic about the product
Mhm.
and are top users of it. It's wonderful to be able to enable that. And I think what you were describing in that ambassador relationship too is really important to call out. That some organizations I've been with have called them like an advisory board, but it's basically that group of members who can give feedback on ideas and approaches. And I love the collaborative way in which you and Ilker were able to approach
Mhm.
them and say, this is our strategy. This is what we're envisioning that we could do.
Mhm.
Would you be a part of a community like this? I love the way that you approach that. I think that's really wise. The way
Mhm.
that you took that on. Now, tell me a little bit about the advocacy program then. Is that the same thing as top contributors that you mentioned a little bit earlier, or is that something totally different?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have like we've approached the programs like the community programs that will stay in the community, and like people who might be speaking, who would like to speak about us outside the community, where we give them the platform to. So our advocates are kind of like that. They are like the voice of the communities. uh Yes, thank you, İlker. I'm sorry, I'm always reading the
That's
comments.
okay. That's okay. So you're referring to, oh, I'm sorry. I put up the two popped up fast there. I'll get them up. So
Okay.
this is Ilker. He shows up as an anonymous LinkedIn user. I don't know. He's like international man of mystery here. He says, by the way, spoiling the surprise a bit, tables have turned and Neval is now mentoring a brilliant future community manager.
Thank you.
This is what they
Yes.
want. Yes.
Yes, I've learned so much from İlker that now I am able to teach some people about like what I've learned. So yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes.
And then I'll mention too, Mark just mentioned that he just posted a link on a parents community he recently joined. That's wonderful,
Mhm.
Mark. That's really nice.
Nice, Mark. I can send you like a link after the show, maybe, because by the way, like our community is a customer community. So yeah, nice. Would they be interested in Budizzz? Would they be interested in helping their baby sleep better and faster? Let's talk about that, Mark. I would love to talk about that, by the way, after the show. So yeah, our community is a customer community, by the way, because we wanted to have people who are like using and benefiting from the product to be in the community. We designed the community like that. So that's why actually, like, that's why I mentioned that we have programs within the community, and we have like people, we have a program with people that will be like speaking about the community outside. So the advocates are that. The advocates are the people that who will be like, it's a word of mouth. uh, every community is like a word of mouth. So our community is like that too, and we have specifically designed the community program for that, advocates, so they can talk about like our community, and they can invite people to our community. So yeah, advocate program is that. Advocate program people, I don't know, advocate members, I don't know, our advocates. Our advocates are like on social media. They are talking about like, oh, I've told you before, we have like some of these mothers are influencers, micro influencers, but nevertheless they're influencers, so they have a great power to encourage people to join and encourage people to learn more about like how to have a better sleep. So our advocates are our I don't know how to say that, but our advocates are our brand's faces.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
That's well said, well stated. Uh,
Yeah.
what kinds of things do you do to reward or recognize those people who contribute in that way?
Mm-hmm. Well, again, we again took a community-led approach when when the topic came to that. So we asked our community, of course, we've designed some things, but then again, we've asked our community members, what would make you feel more like, what would make you happier to, to be gaining from like all of this. And we've, when I mentioned that we've designed some things, for instance, we have a moderator program. And for the moderator program, we have planned to have a communication, educational type of thing that maybe we can give to them, which will be helpful both for our community, but for them when like interacting with people, which is like, I think, like a nice benefit. Secondly, of course, they gain, specifically our ambassador program has, of course, a say in whatever we are designing. For community or for the brand. And of course, they have like, I'm not going to talk about like discounts, so on and so forth, but these people are here because they want to learn something. By the way, I'm only speaking about my community. Your community might have something else. My community is a mother parent community, like if your community is different, yours going to have different like expectations from you. But from us, one thing that they wanted to have was experience. They wanted to know, they wanted to learn, they had so many questions about so many things that they wanted answers from. So like one of the things that we did was bring them together with the experts. Maybe they weren't like able to easily reach to, so they could ask their questions. That was something that was very valuable for them. That is so valuable for them. And to this day, they keep asking, like, can we maybe bring these people to talk with us to, answer our questions? That is a gain that they have from our community. One of the best gains that they have from our community. Maybe I can say that, because as a parent, again, there are so many experts out there that you are not always able to reach. So yeah, that is one of our biggest values that we give. If
Wonderful.
that answers your questions.
Yes, excellent questions, and wonderful, wonderful contributions from the chat. It's been one of our livelier chats that we've had out there. So glad that everybody's chiming in. If you have questions for Neval, please don't be shy. I see we've got viewers both on YouTube and LinkedIn, which is wonderful to see as well. So thanks for tuning in wherever you may happen to be. Neval, I was going to ask now, because we're kind of winding down a little bit, and the time always flies by so quickly. I was going to ask, what do you see as sort of the next big challenges for your community? Do you have some new programs you're working on? Are there some new issues that you're trying to do? Are you trying to break into new markets? What are your priorities going forward?
Nice. Well, specifically speaking, we've launched, we have a community that we host on Discourse, by the way. Hi, Discourse people. They've been very helpful throughout this journey, because we recently launched our iOS app, by the way. Right now, like, our community is an app. So we've recently launched the iOS app. Right now, we are having some difficulties with the Android. Why I'm like explaining all of this is, a community is never responsible. A community manager is never responsible only for community. As like, I'm working at a startup, so especially if you're working at a startup, you are going to have so many responsibilities. So like we deal with, of course, by the way, having a community, you are going to be responsible for the questions of like other departments as well. They will have questions for you. You will have the answers for them. So you're always in contact with those people. Right now, for our community and like for us as the community management team, we are working very closely with the product team, by the way. Again, always like giving them feedback about like the products or like whatever we are building. But currently, like, it's so exciting. I'm so excited to say that, yes, we have an iOS app and Android app on the way. So our community is going to be like very accessible on everybody's phones, which is something very exciting, I think. And which is, I think that we are very privileged to have like a Budizzz named app as a community for us. I think it's very exciting. It's so exciting. Yeah.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So that is one thing. Like, another thing maybe I can like mention is, we are launching new products. We've launched a new product like this week. We are going to be launching a new product like very soon at the beginning of 2024. So with these, you receive many questions about like these devices on your community, and you have to like make people understand these products very well in order to maybe have less questions about the product or like less negative responses about the product, so they know how to use the product and they will not have any problems about the product. So the challenge that we have at the moment with our community is that we've launched the product and we have to like make people understand as community managers and having the community as the customers, we have to help people understand the product as easy as we can through like different channels. I think like when we say we are a community manager, yeah, we are not only responsible for the community, we are also responsible of the brand and whatever happens to the brand, you know, like because you are the face of the community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, in a startup, there's no place for somebody who says that's not my job, because
Exactly.
you end up having to be willing to do many things when you're in that kind of role. Yeah.
Yes.
Really
Very,
wonderful.
it's very nice too, by the way. I think everybody should have a startup journey in their lives, in their careers. They should definitely have that. If they're not the founder, they should be, you know, like a part of a startup. I think that teaches many things.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
A quick shout out from Ilker to Sarah Hawk from Discourse. Sarah Hawk is, of course, the CEO of Discourse, and or co-CEO. I'm not sure. Anyways, she's a longtime friend, going back to my days with Fever.Bee, and yeah, I fully underscore that. She is a wonderful support
Exactly.
and advocate for community builders everywhere. I'll acknowledge too, Mark Schwanke added in, did you ever try a pre-sales space on your community where you can join before they buy and get additional access to purchase only after some questions? I think that's really, it is a nice idea if you can get something like that into place. It is almost a different kind of community as well.
Exactly. Yeah, we've actually thought about that. We thought maybe, you know, like have some of the categories or like some of the channels open so people can, you know, at least ask their questions about the products. But then we've decided to a bit, how do I say that? I postpone that because at the moment we want to like first we want to teach all of the members what the community is. We are doing that. We are like on the onboarding process because these are like parents. They have for sure been in communities before, but they didn't realize that they were like communities because there are like so many parent forums out there that maybe not really managed well or do not have a community manager for it. So right now at the moment, like it's very important for us to make people understand what community means, what community might offer to them, by the way. So after that, yeah, it's in our plans. Thank you so much, Mark, for mentioning that because it's again like validates our thought. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, Neval, I think we're rapidly closing in on the end of our conversation here today, but I was absolutely thrilled to hear about your journey and your professional development and all the good you're doing in the world through this company that's going to help babies sleep better and maybe the rest of us sleep better.
Everyone sleep better.
Yes, everyone should sleep better. We all deserve good sleep. So if someone wants to learn more about Budizzz, again, it's BUDDIZZZ.com.
BUDIZZ, yeah,
ZZZ. Yes, yeah.
I think like some people dropped on the chat, so if you guys could check it, that would be awesome.
Yeah, Mark added it in a little bit earlier. It's really kind of him to do so. And then yeah, and there comes from Kalisa, my engineer. So yeah, nice. So please check them out if that's of interest to you. And then of course, if anyone would like to hear more from Neval about her journey and what she's done, I'm sure she's open to being contacted via LinkedIn.
Exactly. And one thing that maybe I can tease, so sorry, I will be opening like there are many Turkish blogs or like Turkish sources about like community building out there. So I'm hoping to do that very soon, by the way. So if you guys could check like follow me on like LinkedIn, preferably, because I'm not a very ex-user at Twitter user, not very active Twitter users. So if you guys could check out my LinkedIn, let's just connect, let's follow each other, let's keep in touch, by the way, because especially for Turkish community enthusiasts are out there, I want to like be the one. Oh, there are so many great sources from İlker too, by the way, in Turkish, but there aren't many, and we realized that with like the community manager that İlker mentioned, that like in our team. So yeah, we realized that there aren't many Turkish sources out there. So I want to, like be able to translate or like create these sources for them. It will be soon, very soon. So I maybe can tease that. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's so good. And Neval, usually I'll wish people something going into the weekend for themselves, but I would like to give you that honor. If you had a wish for everyone going into this weekend, what would it be for them?
I would like them to, let's enjoy this weekend because we earned it, first of all. And secondly, let's be together with the people that we love. And let's just think about ourselves this weekend. Let's just focus on ourselves. Let's just spend time with us, with like ourselves and with our loved ones. Would that work? Or I don't know.
That's fabulous. That's a fabulous wish. Thank you, everybody, for joining and for being a part of the conversation today. If you check this out on the replay on YouTube or on LinkedIn, keep in mind, we do watch for new comments and try to respond to each and every person. I don't always have the chance to respond live during this, or you get to watch the thrilling view of me typing comments back to people. But I do try to jump in after each of the streams and add some ideas or thoughts or follow-ups to everybody. And I'm sure Neval will probably try to do the same thing as well. And again, please don't forget, instead of 2 weeks, next week, next Friday, 10 a.m. U.S. Central Time. I think that's like GMT minus 5 or 6, something like that. I'm going to have my next guest on, Jason DePerry Turner. I always have to check his name because it's one of those hyphenations. Jason and I are going to be talking all about augmented reality, virtual reality, and its place in community building. We're going to have a wonderful time for that. In the meantime, as we go, I'm going to bring on a little Picard the bear at the end to say, Melissa, please roll the credits. Make it so.